Alright, so what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So this story takes place back when I was in high school, and funny enough, this was actually one of the best times of my entire life, because you guys are probably thinking like, oh, like I saw the thumbnail and title of this video, and there's no way this is real. And trust me when I say this gets realer to the real. That makes no sense, but you know what? It's fine. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember back when I was in high school, basically, me and my parents wanted to do something exciting for summer vacation, and, you know, they didn't really know what to do, and they wanted to do something as a family, because that's what families always try to do. So I remember one time our dad came up to us in the dinner table as we're eating dinner, and he said, okay, so I've decided let's go on a vacation and let's go on a cruise. I remember when he said cruise, me and the whole family were excited. Now don't get me wrong, I think cruises are awesome. Like, think about it, you get to go on a boat, eat food, look at girls in bikinis, eat food, and then look at more girls in bikinis. It was honestly an exciting thing, and honestly, don't get me wrong, like, I think cruises are one of the best things ever invented. But the problem was that when we booked the cruise and we got our tickets for it, we didn't exactly know what kind of cruise we were going to, because it could have been any cruise, from the Disney cruise to like the, you know, jungle cruise or whatever kind of cruise there is out there. There are tons of different ones, and we didn't know which one we were going on. And every time I asked my dad, he wouldn't exactly know, so he would just say, oh, it's a good cruise, it's a good cruise. So we just kind of expected for the best. Anyways, I remember the day of us going, I ended up telling the boys on Xbox I was leaving, and then we ended up going on the trip. Now, as a gamer, I always bring like a console with me everywhere I go. Either it's my Nintendo Switch or, you know, my PSP or my PS Vita. I don't know, it really just depends what I'm going on. But back when I was in high school, I didn't have access to that many video games, so I remember I had my 3DS. And obviously, if you guys don't know, I used to play Smash Bros all the time. But let's just say I didn't expect to be playing a different kind of Smash, if you know what I mean. Anyways, going on with the story, I remember we ended up flying on our airport, and we ended up going from the airport going to another place called Florida. And from Florida, we ended up going to this side thing where there's like a bunch of cruises and stuff. And I remember we were getting on board of a ship, and when we did, our car like drove in there, and then afterwards we ended up going to the top floor, and what we ended up finding out was really weird, because I remember my mom and dad were looking at me and my sister, and then they were looking around, and when we looked at the tickets of what tickets we got that the person gave us, it was an adult only cruise. That's right, an adult only cruise. Now I have no idea how this was going to work out, because honestly, don't get me wrong, I don't know what an adult cruise was back then, so I kind of just expected it was a, you know, a grown-up kind of thing. But I guess the person that, you know, gave us our tickets originally didn't really know our age. Apparently he didn't even check our IDs. He just thought we were old enough. And me, I mean, I was in high school, so I mean, fair enough. I mean, I guess they thought I was 18, but I have no idea. Anyways, going on though, I remember we entered the cruise, and me and my sister were walking around, and both of us were in high school at the time, and we found it really odd how we were just like kind of just surrounded by a bunch of older people. Then I remember afterwards my dad said, all right guys, let's just go straight into the room. Let's go straight into the room. And we ended up going straight into the room that we were like, you know, we booked basically, and we were unpacking everything. I remember instantly what I first did was I put my bag on the bed. I instantly jumped on the other side of the bed and started playing my 3DS. Because I'm gonna be honest, right when I found out we were going on an adult only cruise and not some kind of cool Disney cruise or anything, I didn't really care for it. But then at the same time, my sister was getting all ready, going in her swimsuit, saying, oh, like, you want to come to the pool with me? Like, let's just go to the pool. And I ended up looking at her saying, that's dumb. There's nothing to do at the pool. Like, we're literally surrounded by water. Why would you go inside a pool if we're surrounded by water? And afterwards, she just told me to go, and my mom ended up telling me that if I don't go and support my sister in her fun time, then she's gonna be, you know, making me get grounded. So I remember I ended up getting up and basically getting ready, and I got my swim trunks on and ended up going outside to the pool that was in the cruise. Anyways, I remember I went through the change room that, you know, leads up to the pool, and I saw no one had their lockers, you know, basically there. I guess people just put on their swim trunks and went straight for the pool is what I first thought. And then afterwards, when I went through, I remember I went to the pool and I saw everyone was naked. Yep, I'm not joking when I say this. Every single person that was there was not wearing anything. Apparently it was just a nude cruise. I don't know how to explain it, but long story short, literally everyone there was not wearing anything. I didn't know what to say, and I remember seeing a bunch of adults just not wearing anything, just drinking wine and having a good time. Don't get me wrong, if I have to see a 40-year-old's cherries, I'm not gonna complain, but when I have to see a 50-year-old man's eggplant, well, that's where things get really personal, and I just don't want to be there anymore. So I remember I was kind of just grossed out, and I'm just like kind of moving back thinking, okay, this is really gross. And I remember looking at my sister beside me as she comes out of the change room, kind of freaking out thinking, what is going on here? So what me and my sister decided to do is we decided to run back into the change room and basically go back to our room and tell our parents that we cannot be here, because there was no way we were going to like a nude pool, and like, you know, this adult only cruise can only get worse from here is what I thought. Then my parents told me not to worry, just stay inside and just relax. So that's what I did. Anyways, after like 20 minutes, my parents were gone and they were out doing the adult cruise stuff and fun activities that were going on. I think my mom was going to the spa. I'm not sure, to be honest. But me, I was bored. I'm not gonna lie. There's only so many games of Smash I could play to the point where I just want to do something else. So I remember I ended up getting out of the room and kind of just taking a walk. I started walking around until I ran to the place that I did not expect to go, and that was the bar. Now, surprisingly, they had an open bar. If you guys don't know what an open bar means, it means you can literally just go in there and just drink as much as you want. Now, by the way, real quick, I was in high school, and one thing I'm gonna make sure of so I don't get demonetized is that I don't condone drinking underage. Do not drink underage in your country. It is not a good idea. My advice, don't do it. So anyways, I remember I go inside and I basically start looking around and I see literally everyone's drinking like crazy. And then afterwards, I see a group of women that were like 25-ish, 26, looking really attractive and sitting there just drinking out their hearts because apparently like they were there for like some kind of like, I don't know, vacation. Basically, the whole conversation they had was, oh, we hate boys. Boys suck. Boys suck. Even though you go to an adult-only cruise, I don't know what they were getting at. But then I remember I ended up just going inside the bar, sitting down on the bar stool and basically starting like, you know, get a drink. At first, I ordered Coke, but then the guy looked at me and said, okay, Coke and rum. And he ended up mixing me Coke and rum, which, I mean, fair enough. It didn't actually taste that bad. I started drinking Coke and rum, and then these girls that were right behind me, watching me basically order a Coke and rum, looked at me and said, oh, like, you're a heavy drinker, aren't you? I was really confused. I remember I turned my head and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just getting a Coke. And then afterwards, they ended up coming up to sit beside me on the bar stool, and they were just flirting with me. I didn't know what it was about me. I guess I looked really young, even though I was really young. Like, little did they know I was in high school, but I wasn't gonna say anything. So I remember they just flirt with me, and afterwards they were just like, you know, all beside me until they invited me to their bedroom. Now at this point, I drank, I think, like 4 cups of Coke and rum, and these girls would not stop flirting with me to the point where I was like, you know what, sure, let's go check out what room you got. So I remember I ended up following them, and afterwards I remember we ended up going to this crazy giant suite. That is right, it was like the biggest room in the cruise you could get. I don't know whose money this was, but I'm telling you right now, it definitely wasn't these girls. Anyways, we go inside the room and they all keep drinking more and more and kept getting room service. Apparently these girls had unlimited room service, which was insane to me. But I just kept doing the same thing, ordering a Coke and rum, and then afterward they introduced me to a drink called Smirnoff. Now I'm gonna be talking about alcohol, but once again, don't drink, guys. It's not worth it. Anyways, going on afterwards, I remember like the night was like getting dark, okay? Basically it was getting dark on the cruise ship, and I remember these girls wanted to go to bed with me. That's right, they literally wanted to do the devil's tango with me. But me, in my mind, I was super wasted to the point where I was just asking them dumb questions like, oh, like, where'd you get all the money for like this awesome cruise ship, is what I said. And then afterwards, I remember one of the girls ended up speaking up saying, oh, like, I sold like my husband's engagement ring because we were supposed to get engaged, but I dumped him. So like, I decided to spend all the money on the cruise ship with me and the girls. Now, obviously, when she said this, I was really shocked. And then afterwards, I want to say like 10 minutes later, actually not even, I think like 4.5 minutes later, I ended up just going to her bedroom and doing the devil's tango with her. Yeah, kind of awkward, but at the same time, it was pretty good. Then I want to say like the next morning ended up happening, and my phone was vibrating like crazy. My parents did not know where I was and were worried about me. And I remember I ended up answering the phone, and all I hear is just my mom yelling, saying, where are you on the cruise ship? We thought you went overboard. Like, she was just freaking out. So I remember I ended up just leaving the bedroom, and literally right as I exit the bedroom door, I see my sister looking at me thinking, what are you doing in this aisle? Because like, I don't know, it was like the big hallway of like the rich rooms, I guess. And she was just walking around the cruise ship looking around for me, I guess. And I just told her, oh, I was just checking out this room. And then afterwards, a girl in the robe just ends up exiting the room that I was in, you know? And she just looked at me saying, oh, like, why did you just leave like that? That's so uncool. Like, oh my goodness, like, boys literally do suck. And ended up going back in the room. And I remember my sister looks at me saying, there is no way you did it with an adult. And I said, yes, I did the devil's tango. But my sister already knew that I did the devil's tango a lot, so it is what it is. Hey, do you guys want to listen to these stories live? Like, actually face to face? Well, I made a channel called Bubba Live where I basically do this, and no joke, it's kind of weird. But if you guys do want to see these stories live streamed, then make sure you guys subscribe to the channel Bubba Live, where basically I tell these stories literally live. Now, please enjoy the story. Now, I love boats. Boats are honestly the coolest things ever because if you want me to be honest, I was watching The Wolf of Wall Street the other day and seeing his yacht, like who wouldn't want to do a girl on a yacht? And I remember back when I was in high school, I actually made it my life goal to do a girl on a yacht, and I actually ended up doing it, just with the wrong person. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So today's story takes place back when I was actually in grade 12. Now, in grade 12, I was graduating that that year, and I remember I decided to make it the most craziest year of my life because, well, let's put it this way, I kind of wanted to end it off with a bang. And yes, I do mean Devil's Tango, but you know what I mean, like I wanted to get it more intense. So I remember one day I was walking around my school hanging out with some friends, and there was this new girl that entered our school that was from Dubai. Now this girl from Dubai, I'm not gonna lie to you, she had a really nice body, but her face was not the best. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't find her attractive at all. But I remember one time basically adding this girl on Instagram, and I ended up seeing one of her Instagram stories where basically she was on a yacht. And when I saw that yacht, holy cow. At that point, I was ready to be a gold digger. I know, crazy, right? Me, a gold digger. Now, that usually never happens because most girls nowadays, unless they got an OnlyFans, they're not really making much. No offense to any rich girls out there. I'm still single. But going on, after I saw the yacht on her story, I decided that there's a lot of things that a plastic bag and closing your eyes could do. So I remember the next day, I ended up walking to my school, and basically I ended up walking around the school, and I saw the girl that was, well, owning a yacht. And I thought I'd walk up to her and say, hey, like, how's it going? She ended up looking at me kind of confused because I'd never talked to this girl, but I ended up basically saying, what's going on? And she ended up saying, oh, nothing, just been tanning a lot. My skin's like really like burning up, I feel. I don't really know. I gotta apply more sunscreen on my back. And when she was talking about tanning, I was just picturing in my mind me tanning on a boat. Like, oh, I love boats, man. I really want to own a yacht. Yo, if there's any rich people out there that have an extra yacht, yo, send it my way. But going on, I remember I ended up telling her, oh, I mean, like, why don't you just get someone to apply it on your back for you? She ended up looking at me laughing, saying, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of awkward if I ask my parents to put lotion on me. And then that's when I ended up saying, well, I mean, I could. And then that's where it clicked. Me and her, we started talking from there about basically how I love boats and how she likes boats. And one thing led to another. I ended up getting her number. And let's just say I had a date with her on that yacht the literal week after. I remember throughout the school week, I was basically telling all the boys about how I had a date with her on the yacht. And none of the boys believed me, funny enough, because they thought it was absolutely crazy how I magically just decided to walk up to this girl and ask her to go on her boat. But little do they know that women that are really insecure are usually the easiest to pull. So anyways, going on, I remember I told them that, but they didn't believe me. So I thought I should just prove it when I'm on the yacht. And I remember the week later, well, I ended up getting in my car. I drove to her place. We ended up going with her car all the way to, well, the place with the yacht. I remember that when I first saw the yacht, my mouth was watering. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I remember I ended up talking to this girl saying, yo, this is really nice. And she ended up saying, yeah, like my daddy needed a tax write-off. So like we ended up just getting a yacht for the business. What does your dad do? Is what I asked her. And she ended up saying, oh, I don't know. He owns like a business in Dubai. I don't know. I can't really describe it, but it makes money. So I'm not complaining is what I said. And I remember we ended up basically going onto the boat and just hanging out. But as we were on the boat, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, as we were walking around it, I saw there were like workers on the boat, people walking around. There was a master bedroom, and like this boat was really nice. Going on from there, I remember this girl ended up walking to like the captain's quarters, or basically wherever the captain ended up driving the boat, and asked the captain to basically take us for a lap around, like, you know, the lake, the sea. I don't really know. I wasn't really sure where we were, but it's a nice place. All right. So anyways, the captain starts driving the boat, you know, going around and stuff. And me, I remember it was a really hot day out. So me and her, we ended up going to the top deck and tanning. As we were tanning, she ended up pulling out the lotion that she wanted on her back. And she's like, okay, well, you're going to put this on me now. So I remember I basically told her to lay on her back, and she ended up taking off her top in front of me. And I saw some cherries. And from there, I remember I got bricked up. Like, no joke. I was seriously bricked, and I was putting lotion on her back. I remember as I was putting lotion on her back, though, it was really obvious that I was bricked, like seriously bricked. And I was kind of embarrassed because a person that was also on the boat that day was her mom. Her mom was on the boat to basically, like, you know, just relax, I guess. I have no idea. But I remember her mom ended up basically seeing me put lotion on her back, and she saw me basically with her, and she 100% noticed that I was bricked. And when she saw that, I remember she looked at me and winked at me. Not even questioned anything that was going on, but her mom literally winked at me out of nowhere. Now, I remember I was really awkwarded out. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. So I remember I just played it cool. But then afterwards, I remember after I finished putting lotion on her back, I ended up saying, yo, do you have a bathroom anywhere? Because I really actually had to go because, one, I wanted to make sure this eggplant went back down. I don't know. It's just weird. So I remember she ended up telling me, yeah, there's like a bathroom like the boat. Like, just keep walking and go to the left. You'll see it. And I ended up basically going to the bathroom. And as I got there, I remember I heard a knock on the door right as I walked in. When I opened it real quick to see who it was, I saw it was actually, funny enough, the girl's mom. And the girl's mom that I, you know, got invited from the boat from, ended up basically coming into the bathroom, and she instantly, and I mean instantly, just grabbed my eggplant. I'm not even joking. Like, she just grabbed it. I don't know why. I guess like consent is not a thing on their boat. I don't know, but she grabbed it and she ended up basically started making out with me. Now, I'm gonna say this. She had a really hot mom, okay? I won't lie to you. The mom was like the best of both worlds. She had a hot face and also a hot body. So I wasn't complaining. So I remember from there, I remember she ended up grabbing my wrist and taking me out of the bathroom and taking me to the master bedroom. And me and her, well, I guess you guys could guess what happened. Basically, we ended up doing the devil's tango in the master bedroom of the yacht. Like, what? Like, bro, my mind was blown and I was super excited. And I won't lie to you guys, it was the best thing ever. Who else would get that kind of like? So I remember from that moment, I ended up basically doing it with her, and one thing led to another. Out of nowhere, I remember seeing by the window, there was one of the workers looking through the window, seeing that I was absolutely doing the devil's tango with the mom. So from there, I kind of started panicking because I didn't want the other girl to know that actually got me onto the yacht, and I basically told her we had to stop. But it was super funny because this mom, I'm not even joking, was like really into me for some reason. Oh, like, let me help you finish. No, it's okay. I gotta go. And I remember I ended up just running as fast as I could back to the top of the yacht where she was tanning. But when I looked over there and got up there and saw that she wasn't there, I ended up turning around and she ended up being right behind me. And let's just say when I turned around, so did the boat. And also me having to take an Uber all the way back to her place to get my car. That was an expensive Uber ride. I will say that right now. But yeah, one thing leads to another. Just don't do girls' moms on the yacht. Do whoever else is on there. Or just do the girl that originally invited you on if it's not your yacht. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, just fall for more embarrassing but crazy stories. Peace out, guys.